The Galactic Council had made their decision with the cold precision of a surgical strike. Humanity would be contained, studied, and eventually integrated into the greater cosmic order, on the Council's terms, of course. Ambassador Solra of the Vexian Consortium reviewed the proposal one final time before the human delegation arrived. 6 treaties, each designed to compartmentalize Earth's chaotic species into manageable sectors. Trade confined to Zone 7. Military development capped at Class 3 armaments. Cultural exchange limited to approved channels. Scientific research requiring council oversight. Colonial expansion forbidden beyond their home system. And finally, a permanent council observation post on Luna. 6 plates, Solra murmured to her aide, using an old Vexian metaphor. We set 6 plates to contain their appetite. Her aide chittered nervously. The humans accepted all terms? They did. Their representative, Aaron, signed without objection. Solra's tri-lobed eyes narrowed with satisfaction. In her 3 centuries of diplomatic service, she had never seen a species capitulate so easily. The humans had been spacefaring for barely 50 years. Cubs playing at a table meant for elders. The treaty activation ceremony would be a formality. 6 separate documents, 6 enforcement mechanisms, 6 ways to ensure humanity remained precisely where the Council wanted them. Aaron arrived at the orbital Nexus station, wearing a simple gray suit, carrying a leather briefcase that looked almost primitive against the crystalline architecture surrounding them. Solra found the human's appearance disarming. Young by human standards, perhaps 40 cycles, with an easy smile that seemed out of place for someone about to formalize their species' subordination. Ambassador Solra. Aaron extended a hand in the curious human gesture of greeting. Thank you for your patience with our requests. Requests? Solra had received no requests. Her information networks were impeccable. Minor clarifications mostly, legal definitions, jurisdictional boundaries, that sort of thing. Aaron's smile widened. Nothing that changed the spirit of our agreement. The ceremony proceeded with appropriate gravity. Representatives from 47 species watched as Irene approached the hexagonal table where 6 crystalline datapads awaited, each containing one of the binding treaties. Solra began the formal recitation. The Trade Restriction Accord, limiting human commercial activity to Zone 7 and all adjacent buffer territories, yes. Aaron touched the first pad. It glowed green, indicating acceptance. Though I appreciate the Council's acknowledgement that adjacent includes any territory within 0.003 parsecs, and that buffer territories include all unclaimed systems within jump range. Opens up quite a bit of space for us, actually. Solra's primary eyes widened fractionally. That interpretation was technically correct, but it hadn't been the Council's intent. The military development limitation, Solra continued, restricting humanity to Class 3. Defensive capabilities, absolutely. Aaron activated the second pad. And we're grateful for the clarification that Class 3 refers to individual platform classifications, not aggregate fleet capacity. Also, that defensive includes any system necessary to protect our trade routes, which, as we just established, extend fairly broadly. A murmur rippled through the assembled species. Solra felt the first stirring of unease in her thorax. The pattern continued. The cultural exchange limitation became a framework that required the Council to accept any human cultural practice as traditional after a mere 50-year observance period. The scientific research oversight transformed into a data-sharing agreement that actually obligated Council species to provide humans with their research findings. The colonial expansion prohibition became a renewable lease system where humans could occupy any system they could reach within a single jump from their territory, with territory defined to include any human outpost, no matter how small. By the time they reached the 6th treaty, the Council observation post, Solra understood the trap they'd walked into. The observation post on Luna, Aaron said, activating the final pad, which is specified in Section 12, subsection D, operates under joint Human Council administration, with all intelligence gathered being shared through reciprocal channels. Meaning, of course, that humanity gets access to Council intelligence networks, for security purposes naturally. The hexagonal table blazed with 6 green lights, all treaties activated, all legally binding, all catastrophically miscalibrated. You, Solra's voice translator struggled to capture her dismay. You accepted our terms because you knew you could eat from every plate. Aaron's smile finally showed teeth. Ambassador, my species has a saying, the devil is in the details. We've been negotiating with ourselves for thousands of years. Tribal councils, nation-states, corporate boards, international bodies. We know every trick for making rules say what we need them to say. The human gesture to the glowing table. You set 6 plates thinking it would divide our attention, limit our reach. But we're humans. We don't choose between plates. We eat from all of them at once. 3 months later, Solra watched the reports flood in. Human trade convoys in 78 systems, human defense platforms individually class 3 but collectively formidable, guarding expanding networks, human cultural centers broadcasting across the galaxy, human scientists embedded in council research facilities, absorbing centuries of accumulated knowledge, human outposts sprouting like weeds across previously restricted space, all of it legal, all of it according to treaties the council had drafted. Her aide approached, mandibles clicking anxiously. Ambassador, the council is demanding to know why you approve such language. Solra's laugh was bitter. Because cubs don't negotiate like elders. We expected them to think small, to accept boundaries. She pulled up an image of Iran, whose next appointment was negotiating hydrogen fuel standards. Another minor technical matter that would somehow reshape the galactic economy. We thought we were teaching them their place at the table, Solra said quietly. We didn't realize they'd been teaching each other to flip the table for 10,000 years. They didn't fight our restrictions. They weaponized them. The cubs had learned to set plates long before they reached the stars. And when the elders set 6 plates before them, the humans simply smiled and proved they had 6 hands to reach with. The galaxy would never underestimate human lawyers again.